All righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Connect 777 podcast, where I am your host, Thaddeus Sims, and you all know that this podcast is about the human connection, and that's everything. And today we have an awesome guest speaker. I'm super excited to be sharing her with you all. She has a lot of information, and we're going to go into more details about her later because I don't want to ruin it and or butcher it. But for those who are new to the podcast, I would like to say again, welcome. This is the 44th episode, and so we're going to title it under her name. But as you guys know, I always have to give you an announcement, then the fun fact. So the announcement, if you guys aren't already on the email list, just know that the new shirts, the newest shirt this week has been released. That's the lightning one. You guys got to check that out. I've been getting a lot of good feedback with that. If you haven't seen it, that is one that you definitely want to show yourself and be conceited in if you want to. And then going on to the fun fact. So I found this fun fact to be pretty interesting. I thought it was entertaining because, I don't know, it's just weird and outlandish, but I didn't know this, and now I see the world a little bit differently. But apparently, a flock of crows is known as a murder. And some might say that a group or a group of two crows is an attempted murder. And I found that to be a very interesting fun fact there. So now when I see some birds, I'm like, look at that murder over there. Okay, I see two crows. That's an attempted murder about to go on. So I feel like I advanced my vocabulary a bit. But with that being said, I would like to introduce Miss Yasmine to the podcast episode. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of great things. So Yasmine, I would like to say welcome.
Thank you. It is a pleasure and an honor to be on this podcast. I have a small business in Palm Beach County, so just the fact that you reached out to me wanting to help me get some exposure means so much more than what you think it does.
I appreciate it. Hey, I thank you for taking the time because I understand having a small business, all of your time is in your business and all the other stuff. So
Definitely.
So I'm gonna just ask you a few questions and we're just gonna, free form it. But
okay.
So tell everyone who you are. Like I know we went to school together, but for them who don't know,
for the people.
For the people.
Well, I'm Yasmine. I am the owner of Royale Sweets LLC here in Palm Beach County. I specialize in desserts, treats, tables, decor, pretty much anything to do with crafting and sweets. You name it, I can do it. Like, give me a picture, and I'm here to make your vision come to life. A lot of people say I have my hands in a lot of different pots, but that's just who I am. Everybody growing up with me knows that if it's some way I can help somebody, I'm going to do it. And especially with my customers, it's like, if I can refer them to somebody, I will. But if I can do it, why have them go to a million different people when I'm here to service our community?
Yes.
So that's basically what my business is centered around. It's centered around the community. It's centered around children. I wouldn't necessarily say children, but I do specialize with children. I am trying to get out of that stigma because a lot of people look at me and think that that my business is just strictly for children. It's not, but I do prioritize the children because there's a lot out here for the adults, but nothing for the kids. And that's what I'm trying to bring back into our community. Like, we are the generation that are supposed to be throwing the cookouts. We are the generation that's supposed to be getting these kids off the streets. So if you guys are going to continue to complain about it, do something about it. And that's what I'm trying to bring through my business. So any way I can help anybody, I try to, especially the younger crowd, because some of them, like we like when we were talking earlier yesterday, you said we are that crazy generation because we came before the internet and we're here after the internet. So it's like trying to bring that before the internet into the internet world, and it's hard to do, especially with these teenagers. So it's like a lot of people ask me as to, when are you going to hire somebody to help? I don't necessarily want to hire somebody to help per se, because I'm trying to get that internet generation in on my business. So it's like, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, yeah, I know this person's in their 20s, their 30s, they're going to be responsible, they're going to know the job. But why give it to somebody who knows the job versus trying to teach a new skill to someone else? So that's per se why I haven't hired anybody, because I'm trying to, I have a couple of teenagers in my family that I'm trying to like give them a way out. Like, make your own money. Why go and people look at it as in I make X amount of dollars per hour. But it doesn't sound as good if you say I sold my soul for X amount of dollars per hour. So it's a lot better to have that residential income than sitting here and saying, oh, I'm going to work at McDonald's and I'm going to work at the movies and 6, 7 different part-time jobs, when you can help bring jobs to the community or to your family and then to the community. And help those kids see the value of having something that can be passed down from generation to generation instead of working for somebody all your life. So that's the main center as to why I started my business. I've always had a passion for culinary. I've always had a passion for baking, but the main thing was to have something to not only pass down to my kids, but other people's kids as well.
Okay, perfect. And you hit the nail on the head, because I literally was going to ask you, what started this? And boom, you said
Yes, definitely.
So, all right, now business owner, because I know like I think we talked about it a little bit before, is like this is kind of like the generation where a lot of people are starting to transition to, you know what, I need to just own my own business because working ain't doing it for me. So
exactly.
I want to ask you, so from business owner to business owner, what are some of the struggles that you had to deal with getting your business like up to where it is now? I know you have much further things you're going to do, but just what were some of the struggles that you had to go through, like getting it down?
The main struggle, which probably I spent the majority of my first year and a half screwing up, was deciding how to structure my business. Deciding, because I have a lot of people in my family who do have their own businesses, and was hearing mixed things. Oh, you should, when you register your business, be a sole proprietor, or when you register your business, be a LLC. I've been registered as both. I had to figure out what works for my business, and there's no really handbook to say like, this is the exact one that's going to work for you. You kind of just got to figure it out. And for me, LLC was more of up my alley because it like revolves around flexibility, whereas tax purposes are concerned, as well as liability for the owners, liability protection for the owners. So if you guys don't know what LLC stands for, it's a limited liability company.
Yeah.
And I felt like I fell more under that umbrella than the sole proprietorship. Only because, like I said, I had to weigh out what works best for me. Like there's not really to say, I probably could have stayed under sole proprietor, but as far as like tax purposes and what I felt would best benefit my business, I felt that LLC was the way to go. Now, with going with an LLC, you do inquire a lot of fees. There's yearly, annual filing fees and things of that sort. But the nice thing about it is, with being an LLC, if anything was to happen on the legal stand grounds, I'm protected just because my business has been filed under that limited liability.
Right.
And it's for people who are trying to get into business. It is a bigger tax write-off for the LLC than it is the sole proprietorship. And you also can do a lot more under your LLC. Like, for instance, I just found out this year, because I have an LLC and I use my cell phone for my business, I can put my cell phone in my business name and that can be a tax write-off. So just little things like that. And people, like, going into business, that's something people don't think about. Like, okay, my customers are calling my cell phone. Like, how do I get paid for you calling me?
Yeah.
So it's things of that sort, where I had to, find my happy medium. Also pricing. Being a small business, pricing is the hardest thing ever. I still to this day don't think I have it figured out to the T. But I have it figured out somewhat, because it's hard, because it's like you want to keep your prices effective for your consumer, but you also want to make a profit.
Right.
I have a lot of people come up to me and it's like, oh, what if you're doing a party and you're say this party is a $600 party. Well, what is your profit? For me, honestly, I don't look, my profit is the happiness of my customer. Yes, I'm in business to make money, but when you're first starting out, you are not going to make as much money as you think you are. Like, you're putting out you're putting out a lot more dollars than you're getting in. Exactly. So for me, it's not necessarily as can I make 50%, 10%, 15%. It's did I do my job? Did I exceed my customers' expectations? Because being a small business, yes, you can pay for advertising. Yes, you can advertise on social media, but the bulk of your advertisement is word of mouth. Yep. If you didn't meet this person's standards, they're going to be like, oh, well, she baked a nice cake, but it didn't look that nice. So go with this girl instead. I know her cake don't taste as good, but it looks better. And in the world we live in, it's so hard because one, in my business per se, I'm competing with so many bigger business. I'm competing with Sam's. I'm competing with Publix. I'm competing with Costco's. Like, why would I come and spend $100 on a cake with you when I can get it from Publix for $50 and I can use my food stamps? So that's the mind, and that's another struggle that I have, like trying to recreate my customers' way of thinking. Yeah. Like, yes, you can get this from there for cheaper, but is it going to be what you want, or are you settling because you can get it for cheaper? Yeah. And that's honestly the biggest struggle, because I have people day in, day out, they inbox me, they text me, they call, they email, and people shop around, which I'm not saying that that's the bad thing to do, but you also have to realize you get what you pay for. Yeah, exactly. That is very true. And for me, I try to keep my prices, like I said, as cost efficient as possible for my consumers, but it's getting the community to understand that when you shop with a small business, you're pouring into our dreams, you're pouring into our talents, you're pouring into inventory. Like, that $1 that you spent with me that somebody else may have charged you 50 cents for went a lot further than what you think. Yeah. And so that's a big struggle, like trying to get my pricing to where not necessarily I feel like I'm making a huge profit, but a little bit more of a profit than what I've seen in the past. Yeah. So that's the biggest struggle, because unlike a big corporation, you don't have wholesale prices. I mean, you do come across some good people. You do get a lot of good connects. Like, I'm so thankful for one of my connects that I do have, Paula Annie Pearl. She is amazing. So shout outs to her. She brings me flour like every other month. And to somebody who doesn't bake, that may seem like nothing. But for me, a 50-pound bag of flour, that's 4 months of baking if I don't regularly. But if I bake regularly, that's like a whole month of baking that I didn't have to come out of pocket too much more. Because if you go look in the store, a small bag of flour, about $4 or $5. Yes. So, and that's like a 1 pound bag. So if you times that by 50, that's half your profit that you made off this $75, $100 cake already. You get what I'm saying? Oh, I do. So it's just like coming in contact with wonderful people in the community has been nothing but helpful. They've been encouraging me. They've been pouring into my business. And that is the number one thing you need as a small business owner, because you get discouraged. It's days or weeks I may make $1,500, $2,000 in a week. And then the next 3 weeks, I don't make a dime. And it's like, time to start applying for jobs. But then I have to tell myself, this is a part of business. Rome wasn't built overnight. You're going to have your ups and your downs. So the next step the next thing I would say to anybody trying to start their business, whatever your religious preference is, I'm Christian, so I keep God first in everything that I do. I pray over my business every day. Before I bake a cake, before I decorate a treat, dip a candy apple, I'm praying over the products, because without God, nothing's possible. 8 months ago, I was working for somebody, doing my business part-time. I've been in business for 3 years. 8 months ago, I gave birth to my daughter. I told my husband, babe, I'm not going back to work. I was like, I'm going to take this opportunity and take a step out on faith. Because so many people kept telling me, quit your job, do what you love. When you do what you love, you're never working. And I'm just like, what about my bills? What about my kids? Like, I'm like, yes, I want to do what I love, but am I going to be able to maintain? Like, even though I am married, I feel, and yes, my husband is the head of the household, I feel it's also my job to help him if and when he should fall short. So for me, it's like, okay, I was in the medical field, so I was making good money. So I'm like, oh, I don't have this check coming in every 2 weeks. I got to do something. So that was my biggest struggle. That was a huge struggle that I'm still dealing with to this day. Because like I said, it's some weeks I make good money, and then the next 3 weeks it's a drought. But keeping God first and everything I do has brought me to this 8-month mark, and I'm truly thankful for it. I'm truly thankful for everybody that shares my posts, that supports my business. If you can't spend $1, hit share. I don't care. Like that, because it may not be what you want to purchase, but somebody on your timeline may be interested in it. So that means a lot for me as a business owner, and I know a lot other small business owners that appreciate those shares. It's not always about what you can buy; it's about how you can support. And that is very, very, very big in small business world. Like tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about me. Like,
exactly.
So that's the biggest thing I ask anybody to do. Like even if you come purchase from me, hey, after your event or after you eat that cupcake, if you liked it, share my post on Facebook. Send me a text or write me a review on my business page. Tell me how you liked it. That takes 2 seconds of your time. And like I said, it may not be what you want, but somebody on your timeline may be looking for that one person that sells a swimsuit, or that one person that sells a cake, or that one person that's selling shoes. Pour into these Black-owned businesses, please, people. Please. I beg of you.
And a few things is like, so a few things I wanted to go over is like, okay, so for those who are listening, like when it comes to pricing, especially as a business owner, you're starting that can be like, okay, it's like a battle, a little bit of a struggle for us, because it's like, what do we do? But for those who are not business owners and they're like, you're hearing the back end of it, understand like there is inventory, there's things that we have to buy. Then so it's like there's factors that we have to consider that, okay, we got to get all this stuff just to make this for you. And then at the same time, we kind of have to make a bit of a profit so we can keep doing this. And there are bills to pay, but we're not trying to do nothing, outlandish. Like, oh, okay, you feel that we're going to bake this cake and we're going to charge you, your rent. You know what I mean? Like, no, yes, we understand, but it's like for those who don't know, like there's a reason we have the prices that we have, and
it's inventory and time.
Exactly. There's the market, like, okay, the people you're doing this to, like, they got the money, who you market. So it's all of that that's in there. And a second thing I was going to say too is that I'm honestly, me and you both are in the same position when it comes to like having to quit the job. Though you did yours earlier than mine. I did mine a few weeks ago, and when thank you, because when you was like, I got bills to pay, that was me, because I didn't plan this, and I'm still in this position where I'm like, all right, so I'm completely on, faith and just keep doing my thing and stuff like that. Because I'm a pretty spiritual guy, so one of the things is like, okay, I'm all about my freedom and stuff like that. So it was meant for, like, it was like, I was not, I wouldn't say forced, but the signs and everything were very strong and very yelling at me, like, you need to.
Yeah, not I think you should. It's time to go.
It's time to go. Like, you have to go. This is a detriment to your health type of thing.
Yep, that was me.
So, yeah, so it's like huge. And, that is like a thing. And so when you're in that faith mode, it's like, okay, what's good about it is that you got the time, and now it's like, now you have that pressure on, like, okay, now you got to really get creative in. So it's a good thing. And like how you said, like for me, like I do the podcast, but for now, at the moment, until I finish more planning, at the moment, it's the shirts that I'll sell. So it's like, there's some weeks where it's like, okay, I sold a bunch of shirts, it's really good. And there's, like you said, there's weeks where it's like nothing. And that's just how it is, that comes with it,
Comes with the territory.
Yes. So, for people who are listening to this and thinking of starting a business, do not be discouraged, but just be aware that this comes with the territory, but it's going to make you a better business owner, and you're going to learn so much from all of it. It's like when you have your own business, you're really like, it's like you're back in school, but like it's something that you want to do, and you're getting that experience for that thing that you love to do, and it's an excitement.
That is exactly correct. That is exactly correct. Like, and it's funny that you say that, because I would encourage anybody who has a business that are thinking about quitting their job to first use your job to fuel your business. Yes. I've been in business for 3 years. For 3 years, I've been thinking about walking off my job. And every morning when I got up, I was just like, today's the day I turn in my letter of resignation. Like, this letter has been typed up. months, and then the position I was in, I was just like, okay, you know what, I got a better job offer, so I'm gonna switch to a different company, doing the same thing, a little bit better pay, better schedule. So I'm like, cool, I'm loving it. Found out I was pregnant. Now I'm like, my boss giving me hell. I'm like, I gotta go to these doctor's appointments. I eventually gotta go out on maternity leave. Like, what's gonna happen? Yeah. And it's crazy because right after I had my daughter, I was just like, you know what, it was on my mind, like, hey, I'm not going back to work, but it's just like, yo, I got 2 kids now. I got to go back to work. Yeah. So I'm like applying for jobs that I know I'm overqualified for. Like, I have so much experience in the medical field, and I'm applying to like the bottom of the barrel jobs. I'm like, I don't care. Give me anything at this point. I'll be grateful. Yeah. Nobody's calling me back. And I'm like talking to my mom. I'm like, dang, nobody's hitting me back. About 2 weeks ago, I got a call, went in for an interview. I'm like, yeah, babe, I'm just going to go back to work, do something part-time, still keep running my business like I was doing before. Yeah. God has a funny way of making you listen to him when he wants you. Mm-hmm. And so I went in on this interview, got the job, told me to start the next day. Perfect. I had the interview with corporate. They gave me the location. This is where you go. They'll see you in the morning. I get up extra early, make sure the kids straight. I haven't ironed my scrubs. I will never iron my scrubs. So I just knew. I should have known something was wrong. I got into the job. I'm introducing myself to everybody. And they're like, are you working? I was like, yeah, I had an interview yesterday with corporate. I'm supposed to start today. And they're like, oh, the office manager didn't say anything to us. And I was like, oh, so just wait in the waiting room. And as soon as she comes in, we'll let you know we'll let her know you're here. So I'm like, okay, cool. Still not thinking nothing of it. So the office manager comes in. I introduce myself to her. She walks me back to her office. She was like, Yasmine, you're a really nice lady, but I don't have any openings at my location. I didn't even know you were supposed to be here today. Oh, damn. So I'm like looking at her crazy, like, what do you mean? Like, I just had an interview with corporate, and she's like, with corporate, I do my own hiring at this location. Corporate doesn't hire for my location. They hire for everybody else's location. So like, now I'm like, So I get on the phone, I'm leaving. I thanked her. I was like, well, can I email you my resume just in case, you come up with an opening, please keep me in mind. So I get out to my car, sitting in my car, I'm praying. I'm like, all right, God, now what? Mm-hmm. So I get on the phone, I call corporate, and they're like, oh, we're sorry. We were supposed to send you to a location down in Coral Springs. I'm like, Coral Springs about an hour and a half away from me. That's not in my availability to drive an hour and a half there and an hour and a half home when I got to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, long story short, I turned it down, but I found it funny how the first 7 months I went out on faith. I'm like, I'm doing this, whatever. Bills get paid when they get paid. Mm-hmm. We good. But then when the 8th month came, I was just like, yo, I can't keep doing this. My savings dwindling down. I'm like, I'm the person that saves. So I'm like, something's got to give. And God's like, instead of trying to tell me, like, I don't need you to go back to work. I need you to be the work, to give to people. Yeah. So he's like, you know what? Since you don't want to listen, I'm going to let you have it your way. Go ahead on this interview. Go on and get the job and get there. And there is no job. So that was my biggest learning lesson this month. That was my biggest learning lesson. And I'm actually thankful for that, because I don't know how I would go back to being told, okay, you go to lunch at this time, you be to work at this time, you leave at this time. Go back to that from having the freedom as to I schedule my meetings when I want to, I go to sleep when I want to, I eat lunch when I want to. I don't know how I would have transitioned back into that lifestyle, like that working life. Like after being not being out of work, but after not working for somebody for 8 months and having your own freedom financially and physically, it's just like, how do I go back to being told what to do? It's like a child. Once you hit 18, you move out your parents' house, you do what you want. You got to move back in with mom, and mom telling you, oh, your curfew is this. You're like, I'm grown.
What?
I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Like, I know this ain't working for me. I got to move back out.
Yeah.
I'm in the I move back out phase.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by earlier when I said saying I make X amount of dollars an hour doesn't sound as bad as saying I sold my soul for X amount of dollars per hour.
True.
So that's where that came from. Short story.
I understand. I do, because it's a whole different ball game. And when you are free and you can do your own schedule, it's like, you know, yeah, you had the safety net of a job and whatnot, but when you start making your own money, you have that freedom to do stuff. It's like, it's like you become a completely different person at that point. Right. Now, and going back to what it's almost kind of like going backwards. And it's like, you have that feeling like, this ain't for me. And I know me, like, I was like, I don't think I can get a job anymore, because I know the same struggles that I had, which was not like, it had nothing to do with the people at all, but
right.
It was me. Like, okay, I know, I can't be working for someone. I can't be waking up, you know, early in the morning to be on someone's job. And I'm not even a day person at that. I'm not even a morning. I don't work for me. Like, when people wake up, I'm going to bed. So it's just like, like literally my work schedule or business schedule. Let me say that. I don't want to say work. My business schedule is literally, it starts at 12:01 a.m. Like, I do anything I want to before then, but 12:01 come. All right, everybody sleep.
Yes.
On silent. I'm over on the drawing board, you know?
Right.
And then when I wake up, like whenever I go to bed, about 6 in the morning, I go to bed and I wake up, I have the choice where it's just like, damn, I feel good. I can either not do nothing and relax, which, you know, as a business owner, that's a lot.
It never happens.
Never happens. And it's like, I got the choice now to either, you know, relax sometimes, because there's sometimes as a business owner, you know, okay, we need to relax. We need to, we got to do that because it'll make us better. So, and then it's just, it feels good because it's like, I don't have to worry about having to be to somebody's job and telling someone, oh, hey, I can't be there. Well, I still got to do that because I'm still focused on what I'm doing. But I got the freedom, you know, with that.
I can take my work with me where I go.
Exactly. So
if I want to go to the beach and send out these invoices, I'm going to go to the beach and send y'all invoices.
Exactly. Like, I'm
looking at a picture of the beach on my wall in my office.
Right. Talk about must be nice, you know, that they can go out there and be there, and beach right down the street from us. So, yes.
Exactly.
Okay. So, all right, I want to ask now, we briefly talked about this, so me and you probably might laugh here a little bit. So, as you know, the podcast is all about how to connect with those around you, the human connection. So, as a business owner, obviously, you have to connect with people. So, what are the struggles that you've had and may currently still have in regards to connecting with people?
Believe it or not, I am not a big people person. Like, I'm not an only child, but I have only child syndrome. It's just like, don't talk to me, leave me alone. Like, doing nothing right now. And it's just like, that's when I get the most business calls. I'm like, bruh, I don't want to answer my phone. I don't want to talk to y'all. Like, then I like pick up my phone, like, thank you for calling Royale Sweets. Like,
right.
That's my biggest struggle. Like, that and getting people to respect my time. I think that's more of why I'm not I'm not going to say I'm not a people person, but I am not as fluent as I like to be as a business owner where communication with people is concerned, because it's hard to get people to respect your time when you work for yourself, because they look at it like you're not a legit business. And that's not saying that we're not, but that's how on the outside looking, and they're like, oh, she run a business from her house. Like, she ain't no business owner. Respect my time. Like, business hours 9 to 5. Please send me invoices or whatever you need between 9 and 5. Like, and I legit had to get a whole nother phone because it was getting, I'm sorry. even though my phone on silent, all my alarms coming through. I legit had to get a whole nother phone because people would not respect my time. Like I would get like text messages or Facebook inboxes at 2-3 in the morning about treats. I'm like, yo, this couldn't have waited till 8 in the morning. Like, I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. Like, if you message me at 2:00 in the morning, 9 times out of 10, you will not hear a reply from me. Like, because it's just one of those, no, mommy's working, please. Babe, come. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So it's hard to get people to respect your time, which in return, like, it gets discouraging almost, because it's just like, dang, why nobody take me seriously? Like, I would never, unless I like legit know that business owner, and I still try to respect their time as well. But if I know that they're up at 2 in the morning and they're okay with me reaching out to them for advice or whatever the case may be at 2 in the morning, only then will I do. But if it's like, yeah, I know Thaddeus is up, but he's probably doing his own thing, I'm gonna wait till 8 in the morning. Like, I may send you the message at like 6 before I fall asleep, because like you said, we do our best work between 5. So I may send you the message before I fall asleep, and at the bottom I say, please reply back to this during your business hours. Like, and I get it. Like, some people like to send stuff when it's on their mind, but it's just like, dang, respect my time a little bit. Like, last month I went to Aruba for 5 days. Mm-hmm. Hardest thing for me to do. My husband like, you ain't bringing your tablet, you ain't bringing your laptop, you ain't bringing your work phone. Like, no, this is vacation. Yeah. Like, that was the hardest 5 days for me. I'm like, everybody like turning up, drinking, and I'm like, I need a computer. Like, I gotta check my messages, I gotta check my emails. Like, it was legit driving me crazy, but I understood because I needed that time. Like, and even still, even though I put out several PSAs like, hey, I'm gonna be out of the country May 9th through the 13th. Please plan accordingly. If you need anything from me, I will not reply back to you until I'm back into the States on the 14th. Yeah. When I got back, believe it or not, from the 9th through the 13th, I had like 500 messages. But if I wouldn't have and I almost felt like if I didn't put that post out there, nobody would have messaged me. Like, yeah. It's like, I feel like they wait until you're busy or until you're taking personal time, because as a business owner, we are guaranteed our 3 weeks a year, just like you are on your job. We want our PTO, we want our sick days, we want our holidays. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, we don't take the holidays on the holidays because we have to be of service to you. But when we say, I'm gonna be out of town, or whatever the case may be, please respect that time, please, for our mental health. Like, because y'all don't understand, like, even when I'm not working on an event, I'm still working on the event. Like, I'm like, okay, I got so many themes that I want to recreate. So I'm like, I got like notepads everywhere. Like, oh, if somebody hit me up, or maybe I should run a special for this specific theme just so I can do it. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're always trying to figure out a way to make our business better. We're online searching for ways to make it more cost efficient to our consumers. Like, okay, I've been charged, I'm paying 60 cents per stick for these apples. Maybe I can find it for 50 cents or 40 cents. So we spend countless hours on the internet, y'all, Googling, trying to find somebody with a cheaper product so that we can bring the prices to you guys. So when we give you guys our prices, please understand, like Thaddeus said, we have to buy inventory. We still have to charge for our time that we're putting into it. We have our per hour time too. Like, we have our per hour time too. So, and then on top of that, we still want to make some type of profit. Like I said in the beginning, like, it may not always be, oh, you made a 50% profit or you made a 60% profit. That profit may be 2%. It may be 15%, but we take our small victories. Yeah. We take our small victories. And that's why I said those shares mean so much more than your dollars. Your dollars mean a lot too, don't get me wrong. Those shares mean so much more, because if you spend $1 with me, you tell nobody about it, my business stops with you. Yeah. But if you spend $1 with me and then you go back and you share my post, now I have several options to bringing in more revenue versus just you keeping me to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that is big. And also popularity. A lot of people I've noticed, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's my way of thinking, but I feel like in specifically Palm Beach County, because that's the only county I can speak on because that's where I reside, I feel like popularity is celebrated more than talent. And it's like, I get it. You want to buy something from somebody because they're known. Maybe they'll shout you out, whatever the case may be. Maybe you get your name out there. But just because the person's popular does not mean they always have a quality product. Yeah. And that's from experience. I've shopped with a lot of people, popular people or people with big names here in Palm Beach County, and I've gotten the worst service ever. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you, when I get good service from somebody, you ain't just going to get business from me. You're going to get business from me and my whole family. Like, when I'm pissed off somewhere and my family hears about it, nobody shops there anymore. Like, they're like, if they piss Yasmine off, oh no, that's it. Like, it takes a lot to get me to that point where I'm like, I'm never spending $1 with you ever again. Yeah. So I will give a person countless number of times to get it right before I say, yeah, you're not for me. Mm-hmm. But that one review, like, say you selling French fries. Your French fries may not be the best in Palm Beach, but you may have wonderful customer service. I'm going to say, hey, Mom, check this person out. My mama going to tell my auntie going to tell my grandma. It's going to trickle down. Yeah. Like, for instance, shout out to Terrell, DJ TJT. My family uses him for everything now. I used him for my wedding. I was just like, yo, I need a DJ. We went to school together. You know, can you DJ my reception? I'm not looking for no discount because we went to school together. I just want you there. Yeah. He's DJed my uncle's wedding since then. He's been to family functions. He's getting ready to DJ for my daughter's party. Like, literally from August of last year up until now, he's probably DJed at least 30 events for us. So that's why I say, when I get wonderful customer service, I tell everybody about it. I'm like, yo, this is the person to go to, because I pride myself on being on my customer service. I may not be able to help you. I may not have a product you want, but if I'm able to help, I try. Like, so that's the biggest thing. Like, support these people because they have a quality product. Don't support them because they have a name in the city that you stay in, the state that you stay in. Support them because they're actually doing something to make a difference. Right. So I would say that's another struggle I fight with as a business owner. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've been in business 3 years. There's still things I know that I can improve on, and I'm slowly improving on. Mm-hmm. But the product, when I have a product and I know I have a quality product, I know for a fact that not only do I have a quality product, I also have a reasonable price. And I've sat back a couple times, you know, had my little chuckles and laughs. Like, I'll see somebody, they'll like inbox me like, hey, can you do my kid's party, or can you do my birthday dinner or whatever? Sure, why not? I give them my price. They spend their dollars with who they want to spend their dollars with. I'm not mad about that. But then a couple days later, I see a hate post on Facebook, like, oh, I didn't like it, or nothing went right, I want my money back. And I'm just like, that's like, I'm sorry, but I laugh about it a little bit. I'm like, shop with quality, not with popularity. Like, yes. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. That's where a lot of people have issues with. Like, I will never buy from somebody just because they're known. One, you have to have a quality product. You have to have wonderful customer service, because those small businesses with the bad customer services, they stigmatize the rest of us. Yeah. You'll hear a lot of people say, this is why I don't shop with Black businesses, or this is why I don't shop with small businesses. Mm-hmm. But you can't stigmatize me for something that Jane did. Like, yeah, exactly. So like, those people with the bad customer service, they kind of make it hard for us who give good quality products and quality customer service, because now we have to prove ourselves even more. As a small business owner, you're always proving yourself. Like, it's always, how do we know you can get this job done? Yeah. And even if I do a party for somebody, like, not to say that they didn't like it, but at the next event, I'll still see them post like, oh, who can do this for me? And I'm like, dang, I did it for you like 6 months ago. You don't remember me? But it's just that small business owner where you're always having to prove yourself to your community. Like, no matter how good you think you are, no matter if you have something that nobody else in the county is doing right now, you always have to prove yourself, because we've been stigmatized with so many bad experiences that they like sweep us under the rug, per se. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's really hard for a small business to get from under that umbrella as to, this is why I don't shop with small businesses, or this is why I don't shop with Black-owned businesses. Because one bad experience ruins it for the rest of us. Like, yeah. And I'd be like, hey, no, don't put me there. I'm like, I still give good quality customer service, or I'll just like, write up under their post. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry you were disappointed, but at your next event, try reaching out to Royal Sweets, so, maybe we can assist. Like, I try to like turn those status around, because once that one person posts that this is why I don't shop with small or Black businesses, now you see 200 posts of everybody in Palm Beach County agreeing. And it's just like, hey, no. This is what we're not going to bash small businesses. We're not going to bash. And I just like, when Off the Bone, Daniel had the incident with the hepatitis, with the worker with the hepatitis, everybody like boycotted his business. And I'm like, yo, this is a Black man in our community trying to make something of himself. He could be out here on these streets stealing, killing, robbing. It's like, you can train. One thing about being a small business, you can train your workers to do the right things, but you can't be there to babysit them 24/7. That's a small business, a big business, a corporation, whatever the case may be. You only can teach your workers to do the right thing. If you had the time to sit there and babysit them to do what you've trained them to do, then you wouldn't have workers. You wouldn't need them if you're there 24/7.
Yeah.
So I did see that going on Facebook, and I did share his stuff, because I've gotten nothing but good quality customer service from him for the past 2.5 years. I've hit him up last minute before, like, hey, somebody backed out on me. I need a pan of chicken for my baby party. Can you have it ready tomorrow by 2? And this man made it happen. And I'm talking about this, when I say last minute, this was like a late night phone call, like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. Like, I know you got other stuff. I know you got your restaurant, but hey, I need you tomorrow by 2. He's made it happen. He's made it happen. So I'm like, it was unfortunate that worker did test positive for that, but his food did not test positive for it. So it's like, why are we boycotting this business, this Black man, this small business? Why are we boycotting him and taking dollars out of his pocket for something that, one, his employee didn't have to disclose to him, and 2, he had no control over? Yeah, it's different when you have control over the situation. Then it's like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna eat there again. But if it's something like the man was never shut down by the health department, it's just like, and I just seen everybody bashing him on Facebook, and I'm just like, it hurt my heart, because I'm just like, if that was me, I don't know how I would have took that backlash. Like, he took that backlash and he turned it around amazingly. Like, I probably would have broke down, like wanted to cuss everybody out on every status, and he stood there with his pride and dignity and defended his business, because as a small business, all we have is us and our community. Like I said earlier, word of mouth is a big thing when it comes to small businesses. So that's why, like, I try my best. I try my hardest to make sure I please my customers in any way I can. I try to support other businesses, even if it's not something I want or something I need. I share it, because, like I said, you never know who on your social media or who in your family may need or want those type of things. So just keep that in mind when y'all see these business posts on social media or whatever the case may be. If they leave a flyer on your car, don't just throw it on the ground. That was money somebody put into that marketing. That was money somebody put into that advertisement. So even if you don't want it, sit it on the next person's car. I mean, do it hurt that they had 2 flyers on their car? Come on now. Just keep in mind that's somebody that's trying to make it out here. And eventually they may actually have something you want. So, like, share, comment, support.
Right. So, okay. Now, I know we talked about like community and like, whatnot. And I feel it's kind of like, especially, I'm not going to speak for everybody. So because I know we talked a little bit about this on the phone. So for those who are listening, welcome to what we talked about. So, I know we were talking about before, for just Riviera Beach, majority of us, like, who grow up here, we're all within a 10 to 15 minute radius. It's just hilarious to me still when I think about that. So it's just like, when you were saying that a lot of people can bash them and this, that, and the other. And I feel like for those who just get on to say stuff, I just feel like it's just like, not really say they're short-sighted, but it's just like they can just say whatever they want based off whatever other people are saying, but they haven't had that experience of, walking into this man's shop. They haven't had the experience of his customer service. So it's just like, for those like yourselves who had it, it would be different. So I'm thinking, like we were saying before, would you say, like, for all the businesses in Riviera Beach, besides some other small business owners everywhere else, but like Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County area, like having some type of network that's like accessible in this time and age. Like, oh, Facebook, like, Google, let me just go on here. But like, okay, someone was able to access this network of some sort and be like, okay, hey, I need a business owner, or someone I know who gets quality stuff, quality baked goods. Okay, boom. Like, all right, I know Yasmine's business. Boom, I hear good stuff, the rating, stuff like that. But it's like, we talk about the community, but it's like, I guess I'm actually like brainstorming of how we could even start to do that, to get like build that with other people. And for those who are listening, who will listen to this podcast, feel free to comment on any of the social medias or your ideas. But what are your thoughts on some type of network, and how do you think that could come about? Like, with all the different business owners within the area, since we all like 10, 15 minutes away.
Right. Well, personally myself, I've been like in the works for a few months now, trying to plan a networking event for the end of this month. Not the end of this month, I'm sorry, the end of this year. And I've had the pleasure of being a vendor at a lot of networking events in the past 2 years. And I'm grateful for those opportunities. But things that I noticed about those networking events is what kind of triggered me to throw my own. Usually in a networking event, it's a host of different businesses. Usually they try to keep it as to a one business per category type thing. So like if you sell t-shirts, I wouldn't have somebody else there that sells t-shirts, because it's supposed to be like a no compete type event. Okay. One thing I did notice that bothered me a little bit was that if this is a networking, and granted, I'm not saying because their names are established that they shouldn't be allowed the same opportunities as us who are not as established as they are, but I would, personally at my networking event, I don't want any vendors that's already established and have a name for themselves. Mm-hmm. Why do I say that? Because I want the ones who out here struggling, the ones who out here trying to make themselves known, the ones who out here pouring into their businesses to get some exposure.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that and I get it, these people probably have inboxes and texts and emails out the yin yang of people trying to get in and get a vendor spot. But it's like, just because you have the money right then and there, or you are a bigger name, and because this is a bigger name, will it bring more awareness to my networking event? I don't want that at my particular networking event. I want these people, like I said, who are out here grinding, these new DJs who are trying to get a name known for themselves, new photographers, new t-shirt businesses, new bakers, new people who doing eyelashes or makeup or whatever it is that you do. I want those people, because I want to pour into those people. Like I wish somebody would have poured into me. Like starting my business, I reached out to a lot of people, more than I can probably remember. People who I knew did classes, people who I knew been in business for 10 plus years. And believe it or not, I got no responses from these people. Like, it's people down, and they're not per se right here in Palm Beach County. So, I mean, like, sometimes you got to travel to get what you want. So it's like people down in Miami, Lauderdale area. One girl, she does beautiful candy apples. Like, she's a beast. Like, these candy apples, like, look like characters. Like, I saw her make a candy apple that looks like Mickey Mouse, like head, body, arms, everything. Oh, and wow. I'm like, that's dope. Like, how do I get in on that? So, I'm like looking on her Instagram. I'm like, okay, cool. She offered classes. So, I DM'd her like, hi, my name is Yasmine. I'm trying to figure out, how do I go about scheduling a class with you? Read my message, no reply. I've been messaging this girl for 3 years, only not because I'm trying to kiss her butt or anything per se, but she has something I want. Like, she has a skill that I feel that I need in my business. So it's like, this girl is known. She has a name for herself. So it's just like, if you're offering classes, why does it matter who you pour into? Why does it matter that we're in the same business? Like, why do I have to be in a different business or not in a business at all to be able to take your class? And it's things like that discourages people from starting businesses. Because no, I'm not saying go out there and tell the world everything you did to get where you are, but if you have a little piece of knowledge to lead somebody in the direction they need to go on, like, you wouldn't sit up there and give away all your vendors, but you say, hey, this is what you can type in on Google, or try this website. It may be a website that didn't work out for you, but the website may work out for somebody else. Try this website and look at their inventory and see if that's something that can help you. Like, just little pointers. I mean, like, majority of the people who are getting into business are willing to pay to pick your brain. But if I can't even pay you to pick your brain, like, then where do I go from that? Like, and honestly, I think that's what made me the business owner that I am today, because everything that I know, everything I've done, everything is self-taught. Yeah. Trial and error. Like, everybody, oh, how'd you learn how to do candy apples? Da, da, da. Well, I have this burn on my arm from when the candy fell on me. I have these apples, like $100 worth of apples that I screwed up because I forgot to put sugar in it, like, or I forgot to put flavor in it. Like, I've learned everything through trial and error. So for me, I'm more of a little, not, I will guide you in the right direction, but I'm more, per se, protective over my business because of what I did to get to where I am. I'm not going to say that I would not help somebody, but I don't feel that, one, I'm at the point where I want to be able to teach anything as far as like one-on-one classes or things of that sort to someone else. Like, I can teach you the basics, like, because I know the basics, but to say, oh, I'm going to offer decorating classes, it's just like, I personally don't feel like I'm there yet. So for me, like, because I know in the past people have reached out to me and I told them the same thing. I'm like, honestly, I don't feel that I'm in the space right now to where I can effectively be like, oh yeah, come on, let's do a one-on-one class. Let me teach you things and this, that, and other, because I'm still learning myself. So if you do reach out to somebody and they do not per se turn you down, they give you some type of information, accept that people are still learning their own craft. You never know where a person's business came from. You never know how they got to where they are. And I've been bashed on Facebook for not being the person that's like, oh, come over to my house, let me teach you everything I know. Like, I can't teach you things that I don't know. Like, honestly, sometimes when I accept a job, I'm going off a wing and a prayer. Like I told you, I put God first in everything I do. Like, so I just shipped off a piece to New Jersey today. It was like a wooden princess carriage that she wanted for an event that she's having. Never in my life did anything with wood. So I'm sitting over here like, yeah, I can do it. Sure. No problem. Like, 'cause I got faith in myself. I'm like, if I can't do it, then I'll just give you your money back. Like, I'll try. Like, so it's like I said, a lot of stuff that I learned through trial and error. So if a person is giving you something to go on, respect that. But if a person tells you that they don't feel that they've accurately or effectively, I should say, completely mastered their craft to be able to give you classes, but they point you in a direction, respect that person. They're not saying it to be nasty. They're not saying it to be mean, but I don't want to lead anyone in the wrong direction, because maybe the way I'm doing it is not the right way. Maybe that's why I can't get to the final product that I want, because maybe there's a step that I'm missing. So I wouldn't want to, per se, you came to me like, hey, Yaz, can I pay you $100 to teach me how to decorate candy apples? I don't want to take your money and steer you wrong, because now that's even more bad publicity. Like, oh, okay, I paid her for this class and I still don't have no skills, or it's still not coming out right. Like, I want to make sure that I've mastered everything that I need to master before I try to help someone else master their craft.
Yeah. Okay. I feel that. That's big. So, okay. So this leads me to the next thing is your advice. Okay. Because I know you told me before, like, some of the things, like, we are talking about, things connecting with people, mastering your craft so you can be able to help other people. So what advice would you give anyone regarding like business, just regarding business and how to connecting with people, with what you've experienced as a business owner and having to connect with people? What advice would you give from what, the trials and errors that you've experienced? What advice would you give in regards to connecting with people who may be in your position where you said, I'm not really a people person, like, sometimes I wanted to, like, so obviously you're doing it, you got customers. So what advice would you give those people to do that, who may want to start a business, but, they feel like, I'm not a people person, so I don't think I could do it. So what advice would you give them?
Pray.
Okay.
And pray again. Like, and research and pray. and talk to people. Like a lot of my experience came through my own family, believe it or not. Before I started selling, my bacon was horrible. Jesus. Like my uncle used to criticize my bacon to the T, and I'm like, dang, this man maybe this ain't the business for me. Like, he was like, nah, I don't like your cupcakes dry. Try again. Like, damn. Like,
Damn.
But so a lot of my experience came from family. Like, not necessarily say I would sell it to my family. Like, I just, like, one day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some candy apples and drop it off to my family house. Like, tell me what y'all thought. Like, a lot of people think it's crazy, but I don't eat my own bacon. I just tried my banana pudding. I've been making this banana pudding for 3 years. I just tried it for the first time last week. Like, one, I don't like pudding. I'm a banana person, but I don't like the consistency of pudding. Like, I have texture issues. Yeah. But I'm just like, yo, like, people be hitting me up. Like, oh, when you make a pudding again, oh, I need pudding. I need this.
I've been seeing that. They've been coming to like the whole drug dealer over there.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, chill, it's just pudding. Like, a lot of people in Palm Beach County make this crap. Like, why y'all, like, let me breathe? Like, thank you. I appreciate the support. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, dang, I just went through a batch. You want to make another one? Like, all right, give me an hour. Like, so, you know, I was sitting home with the kids, and I was just like, I wanted something sweet. I'm like, dang, I got nothing sweet in my house. I'm like, I got this pudding. So I put some in a bowl. I'm like, let me try it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this shit is dope. Like, and a lot of people like, how do you selling it to us, but you don't know what it tastes like? Because honestly, I want non-biased opinions. So, when I say that, I mean, if you make a pot of rice off rip, your rice is the best rice in the world because you made it. Like,
yeah.
But if you give it to somebody else, they're going to eat it because they're hungry or whatever, but it was all right. I mean, it wasn't the best rice. I mean, you could add a little bit more salt, a little butter here,
Yeah.
So a lot of my products I've never tasted, honestly. I tasted one of my candy apples for the first time last year. Mm-hmm. That shit was dope too. And then I'm like, okay, I'm like, now I see why. Like, because honestly, in the beginning, I would taste my stuff and I'd be like, I don't know what nobody talk about. Like, my stuff is good. Like, I don't know. My uncle talk about these cupcakes ain't dry. They're the best cupcakes in Palm Beach County. Like, and now that I don't taste my stuff, like, honestly, I look at them like, yep, that's not dry. That's a good cupcake right there. That's a good cookie. Like, I can now, like, I've mastered being able to look at my product and know when something's not right. So it's like, I don't necessarily need to taste it, because if I have any new product between Justin and my family, like, they all taste it and tell me like, yes, I think you need to add this or do this or subtract. And they're constantly sending me ideas. Like, I did a peach cobbler cheesecake not too long ago, and I was just like, my sister actually sent it to me. She was like, yo, make a peach cobbler cheesecake. And I'm like, I don't like peaches. So to me, I'm like, that shit sound nasty. Like, I'm not making that. Then, so it kind of sat on my phone for honestly about 3 or 4 weeks. And I had a lot of customers like tagging me. It popped up on Facebook. Then I had a lot of people tagging me in it, like with the eye emojis. And I'm like, y'all really want this peach cobbler cheesecake? So I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, it's a regular cheesecake with like peach cobbler, like peach toppings. Like, I'm like, but how can I put my own spin on that? I'm like, because to me, that's not a peach cobbler cheesecake. That's a peach cheesecake.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make the crust a brownie with peach chunks in it. Then I'm gonna do a caramel cheesecake with the peach toppings. And it, like, I didn't taste it. It smelled good. People bought it like crazy. I made like 6 in one day. Like, people came, like, they bought one slice. They came back, wanted to buy a whole pie. Like, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what it tastes like because I've never tried it. But
they like it, so
yeah, it smelled amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a peach person, so I was just like, I'm not gonna try that. But
it smells good, so I'm gonna go with my taste. I'm gonna go with my smell right here. Like,
right, I'm gonna go with my smell first. But honestly, I would say anybody trying to get in business, try it out. Like, if you want to sell t-shirts, you want to bake, you want to do whatever, try it. One day you got maybe got a free check that month or whatever, take $20, $40, whatever the case may be, to buy the inventory. Try it out. Give it to people in your household. Give it to family members. Let them be your first taste testers, because what you don't want to do is put out a trash product, especially just getting started, because one, you put out a trash product, it's a wrap for your business before it's even started. Like, nobody's going to look at it at the fact of you're just getting started. They're going to look at it like you decided to sell it, so it should be perfected.
Yeah, For
So
sure.
it's a lot. It's a lot of things that I've done that I've never tried. Don't know what they taste like. Probably will never know what they taste like because I don't like. I love sweets, but I just don't eat my own stuff. I legit go and buy from other bakers. Like I said,
supporting.
yeah, like I said, I support everybody. So like even if we do the same thing, it's just like, oh, you making brownies? I know I can make them myself, but hey, let me get a brownie. How much that brownie is?
Right.
So it's just like it's like I said, it's a lot of stuff that I make that I've never tried before. So give it to your that if you're thinking about getting into business, try a couple products for family, get their feedback.
Yeah.
I would encourage you, if it's food, I would encourage you not to taste your own food prior to giving it to your family.
Yeah.
Make it exactly how you make it. If you had to look the recipe up, borrow a recipe from somebody, whatever the case may be, make it and give it to your family. Sit back, wait for their feedback, and then you taste it yourself and see where you could have done better, where you went wrong, or maybe it was perfect. But that would be my number one piece of advice. Give it to your family first and see what feedback you get from them. And in doing that, your family is going to be your biggest critics because they know you, so they feel like they don't have to filter nothing. So be ready for whatever they tell you. Like you can't go into business and be a crybaby. Because one, like I said, you're going to get criticism. It's been stuff people said about me that I'm like, who you talking to? Like,
right.
I'd be ready to fight. But then I have to remember, like, you're in business mode. Like, take that criticism and do better next time. I mean, you're not going to be there. Nobody's 100% great at everything they do. There's always room for improvement on anything. Exactly. So you have to take that constructive criticism and use it to your advantage. Like I said, my uncle criticized my baking to the T. He's like, don't make that again. You can't bake that. No, don't even try. And I'm like, forget you. I'm going back to the kitchen and making another batch of cupcakes, and you're going to eat this one too. Like, so, like I said, your family's going to be your biggest critics because they know you, so they don't feel like they have to filter their opinions where your products and things are concerned. But also with that, your family is also not going to be your biggest supporters. What I mean by that is because they're family, they feel like you should just give it to me because I'm your auntie. You should just give it to me because I'm your uncle, whatever the case may be. Once you do master your craft and you're able to sell it, or they may ask it for a discount. So that's another issue with connecting with people. It's a lot. I get it. I get it from family. I get it from past classmates. A lot of people, and they may not even come with ill intentions when they say it, but I just honestly don't think they realize how they word things. It's like when you send somebody a message and you're like, how much would you charge me for? You're like throwing in the fact, and especially like when you have a long history, like we went to school together, that is. So me sending you a message like, hey, Thad, how much would you charge me for a shirt? Is like, you're trying to put emphasis on, remember, we know each other. Like, just say, how much do you charge to do this product? Like, I feel like that, how much would you charge me for, is like it's like you asking for a discount and not asking for a discount. And people could take that one or two ways. Like I said, it could be me taking it the wrong way. People may not realize how it comes off to a business owner, or people, or they'll send me a message like, hey, we went to school, hey, you remember me from high school, or you remember me from middle school, whatever the case may be. Oh, I need a cake. How much would you charge me for a cake? It's like, it doesn't matter if I remember you or not. I'm in business. Business is business. I have to tell that to my own mother. She'll tell you. I charge my mama the same price for a candy apple that I charge y'all for. And she'd be like, dang, I don't get no discount. I don't get no discount from Publix when I go pick these apples up. Like,
That's true. And
so that's what you have to differentiate, family and business.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And for those who are listening, just for some advice on some of these things, like when it comes to family, even friends, like you do have to differentiate. Like when people say, oh, can you discount this for me? But you also, like, depending on the business, I always say this. I always try to find, like, when you're a business owner, get creative. So this isn't to you, this is to people listening. So when when you are starting your business, guys, like, get creative. Like, instead, if a person's saying, oh, how much would you charge me for this shirt? Take a moment and actually observe that friend, and not in a way like, oh, is he my friend? No. But take a moment, like, is my friend popular? Is my friend like when he like is he known for his clothes or whatever you do? And you instead of charging him for the shirt, what you could do is give him the thing and have him advertise it for you.
Right.
So there's that route too. So you kind of got to play with, like, if okay, my uncle or relative is in this department or he works in this area. If homeboy wants it for free, okay, well, you finna work for it. You may not pay, but you finna work for it. So
exactly,
here we go. So as a
barter services.
Exactly. So for business owners who are thinking about that and they may struggle with that, that's a not opportunity, but that is an option that you can consider when dealing with family and friends. Now that ain't for everybody, but that's for certain things. And now for those people who it's not for, you just have to communicate to them like, hey bro, like I appreciate your interest, but I got bills to pay. So I can't, it wouldn't, be in my best interest to discount it and blah, 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 blah.
And a nice way to spend that would be, because I've had that happen too. I would tell them, I run specials. Follow my business page. Make sure you change the settings to where you see my posts first. I constantly post different specials or clearances on my business page, so that'll keep you up to date as to when I'm running a special.
Exactly.
But, as a business owner, we have to be careful about how we word things.
Exactly.
People take them very seriously. Like, it's been a lot of times where I've been contracted to do a business, but their budget is just not there. Mm-hmm. For the life of me, it's like so hard to be like, what, you think I'm gonna do a whole party for $300 when I look like a crackhead? But like, that's what but like, you type up that message and you have to delete it because you're like, yo, that's not the right way to message that. And you're like, how do I professionally say hell no to a person?
Right.
Me, I like typed up a nice little short little paragraph and put it in my notes on my phone that I nicely copy and paste whenever I need it. And I'm going to read it to you guys because maybe you can use it or use something to this effect to help you guys out. So if anybody ever, contracts me for a business and their budget is just not there for what I need to do or what needs to be executed, what I send to them is, unfortunately, I can't properly execute an all-inclusive event with add-on services within that budget. But thank you for inquiring with me. My prices for these services begin at blank. If you'd like to move forward, I'm able to further discuss. Otherwise, I wish you the best of luck with your event. Perfect. That's my professional way to say hell no to a person. Exactly. And starting a business, like I said, that may not work for everybody, but you can use something along those lines, because just flat out saying no is rude too. Like, if a person comes to you like, hey, I need a baby shower, but my budget only $300. Me just saying, nah, I can't do it. They may take that offensively too, because even though I know that in order to properly execute an event, honestly, like if it's an all-inclusive event, like all you're doing is bringing in your food and renting the venue. Honestly, for me, booking with me, I need your budget to at least be $1,500. And I say that because I have a DJ I have to pay out. I have a photographer I have to pay out. And if it's a cake that's above my decorating skills, I have to also contract out that cake. So that right there probably takes up a good $600 of that budget. Yeah. Then I still have to worry about your decorations. You want centerpieces, you want treats, you want balloons, you want this elaborate, nice event for people to walk into and be like, damn, her baby shower was the shit. Mm-hmm. But people don't understand, when you look on Pinterest and you send people these Pinterest ideas, honestly, those are not $300 budgets. Like, a lot of those Pinterest ideas, you have to take into account of the inventory, the person's time, the setup, the breakdown, like all of that's being charged for. And what I tell people is, if you wouldn't take it to a big corporation, don't bring it to me. And what I mean by that is, if you had a business owner that was known in Palm Beach County for doing elaborate events, you would not go to them and tell them you want this elaborate baby shower for $300. So give me that same respect. Yes, I'm a small business owner, but we're still doing the same things. I still have the same cost that they have. I may not be able to charge as my prices may not be able to be as high as theirs,
Yeah.
but also don't lowball a small business owner. Like, and I get it, you know, some people, they just don't have it. So, you know, I try to work with them. Well, what is it exactly that you need? Or what all do you need? Well, maybe you don't need the DJ, or maybe you don't need this, or maybe you don't need that. So I try my best to, you know, work out a package within their budget. But please understand, like you said, we have inventory, we have our time, and we still want to make at least a small profit off of this event.
Yeah.
All of that has to be accounted for. And if you can't take that same amount of money and throw the event yourself, then that should tell you that you can't give that same amount of money to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And to add on to that, so for the listeners who are going, because you're going to have to deal with people. So for me, I always work to help people connect with people. So I will tell you this, like, Yasmine, I'm sure you've learned some things, obviously, to get to that level of professionally saying hell no. So for you guys who are starting, and if you are struggling with the people aspect, you know, understand that there's a time and place for things, and also understand too that, like she said, it's the way you communicate to people certain things, and the way you communicate really can make or break your business. So it's okay to learn like some people skills or some people skill books and things like that, because it'll help you to understand that person and be able to like maneuver it in a way where it's just like how she said it. Okay, she'll try to work with them and things like that, but if it's completely out of her budget, she can't do it. So she has to professionally let them know, like, you know, okay, no. And understand there are human moments where it's just like, okay, people are gonna do something, you can be like, okay, what the fuck, like, okay, obviously they want me to cuss them the fuck out, but no. I apologize, but you know, so and it's not, and guys understand too, it's not being fake, it's a way of communicating for the best like possible I'm not gonna say response, but outcome. And the person, you know, will remember that. And if they remembered how you communicated to them, they may not have the money then and there, but they may know somebody.
Right.
And if you communicate like, wow, this person, you know, hey, they didn't help me, but they were so professional. I like, you know, how they mentioned someone or said this, I think you should go with them. And I've seen some of their pictures, because let's be honest, people run their mouth. We all talk about different people here and there, good ways, bad ways, you know, this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, people is people. We're gonna always be around people. So just know that, be conscious of how you can communicate to other individuals, my listeners, especially when building your business. And know there are you know, resources to help you develop that if you may struggle with just the connecting with people, because God knows, like in my past, I hated people. Like, oh my gosh, I was the opposite. Like, it's still a shock to some of my old people who I connect with. They're like, what? Regarding who? People? Well, I'm like, yeah. I had to learn some, had to read some books,
Right.
But so the last question I want to ask is, what is your, like, if you feel comfortable sharing, where are you like trying to take Royal Sweets now? Like where?
Globally.
Oh, I love it. Okay, share.
That's my goal for 2019. I'm trying to take over Palm Beach County. No offense to the rest of you business owners, but I feel like I'm the shit. Like in the party business, I feel like I'm the shit. Honestly, I do. Like, and because I've gone through a lot to get where I am, so it took me a while to feel comfortable being the shit. Like that's the only way for me to explain it. Honestly, like other people may not see it, but I see it. Like I'm dope as hell. Like. I can pretty much do anything, honestly and truly. Like, and if I can't do it, I know somebody that does it. But by the end, I wouldn't say by the end of 2019. I'm gonna give myself to 2020. By the end of 2020, I do want a storefront. I do want to be able to 365 for 3 360 days of the year. I had to get some vacation days in there. 360 days a year. I want to be able for anybody to just be able to walk in and say, dang, I'm in the mood for a cupcake. Let me just go and get it. Like, that's where I'm trying to be at. That's the level that I want to be at. And I don't want to be in an extra popular area. Like, I don't want to be in City Place. I don't want to be in Northwood. I want to be in the center of the hood, honestly. Like, like that's honestly, that's where the money is. Believe it, that's where the old money is.
Yeah.
Like, and if you got old people on your side, you got anybody on your side. Like, there's been plenty of times I found a couple lots where I'm like, this is where I'm gonna build my building. Like, this is for me. And I get almost to that point, and then something goes wrong, and I'm like, yep, nope, that wasn't my lot. That wasn't for me. That wasn't where I was supposed to be. Like, I've gotten opportunities to like sell my stuff out of other people's businesses and this, that, and the sort. And honestly, it's not for me. I mean, I'm not knocking people who do it, but I want something where it's all me.
Right.
There's no, I'm not the secondary attention. I want, when that person walked in the door to inquire services about Royale Sweets. That person didn't walk in because they were getting their hair done and, oh, she's here selling treats today. So let me buy something because I'm in the mood for something sweet. You get what I'm saying? Like, right. I want when a person walks into my business, they walked in there for that sole purpose. And honestly, my biggest goal is to have a dessert restaurant. As weird as that sounds, like where people come and sit down just for dessert. That's all I want on the menu.
Hey, I love that.
Just like a restaurant, you know, you go down, you go to Outback, you sit, you order, you eat your steak, and you may not like the dessert. So or maybe you ate at home and you want to take your significant other out for something sweet. Like, I want to have a sit down restaurant, like with waiters and waitresses, busboys, all of that, strictly for desserts. So that's my biggest plan. I will give that to about 2025. Mm-hmm. But by 2020, I do want a storefront where I'm able to like sell sweets, like just walk in and it's like a whole full-on bakery experience. Like, but after that, no, I'm not going to close the bakery down, but I do want it to be a big spot where I'm able to attach on that restaurant aspect, because there's nothing like that out here. There's nowhere you can tell me you can go sit down just for dessert. I mean, people do it. Like, oh, I'm going to go to Applebee's or I'm going to go to Chili's, but I just want dessert. I don't want nothing else. Like, but then you get there and you're like, oh, you smelling all this food around you, and now you want food and dessert. No, I want strictly a restaurant just for desserts. Like, you sit down, you have a whole experience. Like, there's no sodas. It's like coffee and tea and milkshakes, like that type of ordeal. Like, that's my ultimate goal. So okay, it'll be coming soon to a city near you.
to the city. I mean, I'm
right.
Close. We close. Okay. So we got like a few more minutes left. Is there like any questions you want to ask? Anything, I guess, regarding people or freeform, like anything you want to ask or anything? Or
not necessarily. I just say from the people, like I said earlier, please get out and support these small businesses. If there's anything that you guys are looking for that you can't find, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Royale Sweets LLC. I'm also on Instagram, Royal_Sweets. Reach out to me if you're in need of something. If I can't help you, I can help you find someone that can help you.
Yes.
And those who are trying to start their business, I encourage you to keep God first in everything you do. Mm-hmm. And pray, because there will be those days. There most definitely will be those days when you're just like, I'm over this. I can't do it. Like, why did I start a business? I ask myself that so many times. I'm like, why am I here? Why did I think this was a good idea? Nobody talked me out of it. Like, and then I have to remember, like, this is legit my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm at my happiest. Like, when I was at work, I was depressed all the time. Like, I was just like, hell, I got so much experience. I walk off this job and have another one by tomorrow. Who cares? Like, that's the mentality I had. And at that point, I knew that it was time. Like, my mom used to tell me all the time, like, you're not built to work for somebody. And growing up, like, I used to think like she meant that in a negative way. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I know I can have a bad attitude sometimes. I know my mouth is not the best. Like, so what are you trying to say? But now in my adulthood, I appreciate and I understand what she meant by that. Like, I've held so many jobs, retail, medical, you name it, I've done it. Like, honestly, far as working for someone else, my best job where I was my happiest was at Godiva, believe it or not. Like, it was like and we didn't. And Godiva back then wasn't what Godiva is now. Like, now Godiva making ice cream, they making milkshakes and other. Literally before, all we did was sell chocolate. Like, I used to put those little pieces of chocolate in the case with pride. Like, that was my best job. Like, I was my happiest when I was there. I made crap money, crazy scheduling at the mall, crazy hours, especially during holiday and stuff. But that's where I was my happiest. Like,
wow,
it was crazy. And I'm like, I say all the time, if I had to go back to a job, I would go back there. Like, I legit would take that pay all over again for the peace of mind and the happiness. I love the medical field. I love the patients that I've helped in the years that I've been in the medical field. I still want to pursue my nursing degree, but I don't honestly think I will ever use it. But I feel like I need it because that is a passion of mine, to help people, like, help them be the healthiest them. But I don't have plans on using it, but I do want it. It's just like something I feel like I need to obtain to, like, complete my life goals. Like, right now, I feel like I could be so much further than where I am in life. I do have those moments where I'm like, damn, if I would have taken out that $40,000 a year loan and went to Johnson and Wales and got my culinary degree, like, who would I be today?
Yeah.
Like, I have those moments and I get upset with myself because I'm like, dang, at that time I had no responsibilities. I had no kids. I had no bills. Like, I legit could have up and moved to Miami for 4 years, and who knows where I would have been right now. But instead, I decided to go off to Cookman. Oh, it's the HBCU. Let's get the experience. Hated it. I loved the school. Hated being away from my mom. Like, me and my mom fight like cats and dogs, but I couldn't do it. I came home first semester. Like, she's like, oh, you got to finish out the semester, then you can come home. Like, I never looked back. I was like packed and ready to go. Like, I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to be because I never unpacked my things. Like, my roommate asked me all the time, like, why your stuff still packed up? And I'm like, because I'm going home soon. Like, I legit, the only thing I unpacked was my shoes and my snacks. Like, everything else was still, like, locked up in my suitcases and everything. So I would encourage anybody to follow their dreams, no matter what a person says to you. I have had people tell me that I can't do it, that I'm not going to make it, like, I'm not good at what I do, like, this isn't for you. If you listen to all those negative thoughts, you will never be the happiest you. I am where I'm at because I chose not to let those people take hold of my life. As much crap as they talked, as much as they said, hell, they talked about Jesus. So as much as they talked about what I wasn't going to be and what I couldn't do, I'm slowly having my victories of proving them wrong. And I will take those slow victories over those hard falls, because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love. It's not a job for me because I'm always doing what I love. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage anybody who's getting that negative feedback, whether it be from family, friends, spouses, people on your job who, like, you just talk about your ambitions with, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. Don't listen to those people. You can do anything you put your mind to do. It takes research, consistency, and most importantly, prayer and God. Mm-hmm. So that's my golden nugget to you guys.
Understood. Well, for me, with that, guys, I mean, I feel as though you guys got a lot right there. You didn't have to pay for that. You didn't have to fight no one. That is nuggets upon nuggets right there. So I'm going to I'm in the recording, but you can stay on. I'm going to end the recording here. So with that being said, you guys, I would like to say thank you so much for taking the time to press play to listen to the podcast. And I would like to say thank you as well, Yasmine, for taking your time to come on and, share your wisdom to help, the people. Yeah, of course. Thank you again for just helping the people, because I know there's people who want to start like a business and they don't have to, they hear from somebody else instead of hearing it from me all the time. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
now they know they got somebody else. I'm not just making this stuff up. So, but with that being said, you guys have a fantastic evening, and I will be talking to you all Tuesday. And the majority of you guys who have been checking out the podcast and also on the mailing list, you're going to hear from me earlier. But I definitely want to give a shout out again to Australia, because Australia, y'all been checking out some stuff, so I've been seeing that too, and I appreciate y'all. So thank you
Right,
guys.
Australia.
Yeah, okay, right, Australia. I feel y'all. Like I gotta get somebody from over there. I gotta get somebody on there, on here. So who knows? Who knows? And I definitely gotta give a shout out, obviously, to the States too. But I don't know. It's the people in New York and California. Like y'all, thank you too, because I've been noticing y'all. Y'all been growing over there. But there's obviously others. So I'll probably make a whole episode and thank all of y'all, like, each state by themselves. But just wanted to give you guys a shout out. I appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you all soon. And have a fantastic day.